You're lying in bed at night, phone inches from your face, thumb moving on autopilot. Someone just posted engagement photos. Someone else shared a job title that sounds important enough to have its own parking spot. A former classmate announced they bought a house, and for a split second, your chest tightens before you even know why. You're not unhappy for them, you're just aware. A quiet thought slips in. How did everyone get so far ahead while I'm still here? Or maybe it hits at a gathering. You're holding a drink, nodding along, and the conversation turns into updates, promotions, moves, big plans. You smile, you ask questions, you do the normal social math of appearing interested while mentally scanning your own life for something that sounds equally impressive. Your body reacts before your mind does. Shoulders tense, stomach sinks a little. You go home feeling oddly heavy, even though nothing bad actually happened. This is one of those feelings that's hard to explain without sounding dramatic, so most people don't talk about it. It's not envy exactly, it's not failure, it's the sensation that everyone else is progressing while you're paused, stuck watching life move forward through glass. And what makes it worse is how convincing it feels. This is where it starts. Not with some massive life crisis, but with small, ordinary moments stacked together. A scroll, a conversation, a quiet comparison at midnight. Over time, those moments add up into a story your brain starts telling you, I'm behind. What's strange is that this feeling often shows up even when, on paper, things are fine. You're functioning, paying bills, making decisions, maybe even improving in ways that would have impressed a past version of you. Yet emotionally, it doesn't land. It doesn't feel like progress. It feels like everyone else got a head start. One reason is visibility bias, the fact that you're mostly seeing the parts of other people's lives designed to be seen. Promotions are visible, engagements are visible. Big moves, announcements, milestones with names, those show up easily. The slow, unglamorous parts don't. The months someone spent doubting themselves before applying for that job, the arguments behind the relationship photos, the anxiety that came with buying that house, none of that makes it into the highlight reel. So when you see someone's success, you're not comparing your whole life to their whole life. You're comparing your behind the scenes to their finished product, your uncertainty to their certainty, your process to their outcome. That comparison will almost always make you feel smaller because it's structurally unfair. This is the part people miss. Even when you know social media is curated, your nervous system still reacts as if it's evidence. Your body doesn't say, "Oh yes, this is a filtered picture of someone's life." It says, "They're doing better. Why aren't we there yet?" A subtle stress response kicks in. You feel it as a tight chest, a slight restlessness, a mental spiral that starts asking questions you didn't invite. And then there's timing. We're taught, quietly and early, that life moves on a shared schedule. School at a certain age, career traction by a certain point, relationships by another, financial stability somewhere after that. When those things don't line up neatly, it feels like deviation, even if nothing is actually wrong. A friend might have a great new job, better pay, better title, something that looks impressive on paper, but they dread going home at night. Their relationship is tense, their house feels stressful, and weekends don't feel restful. Meanwhile, your work situation feels stuck or underwhelming, but your home life is steady. You like the people you come back to. Your evenings feel calm, you're not constantly on edge. From the outside, it looks like they're ahead and you're behind, but in reality, you're each doing well in different parts of life. Most people are just trading one kind of stability for another, and when you compare, you're usually lining up someone else's strength against your own weakest area. From the outside, it looks like someone is winning. From the inside, it's just a different trade-off. This is why the feeling is so persistent. When your clock doesn't match the ones you're seeing, it feels like malfunction. Another layer is how progress actually works. Most real progress doesn't look impressive while it's happening. It looks like checking your bank account without immediately feeling stressed. It looks like not over-explaining yourself in a conversation that used to make you nervous. It looks like going through a quiet week without needing something dramatic to feel okay. None of that comes with an announcement. No one congratulates you for being a little steadier with money, a little calmer around other people, or less reactive than you were last year. From the outside, it looks like nothing is changing, but internally, those small shifts add up, and they matter far more than anything that shows up as a milestone. So when you look around, it can feel like nothing is happening for you, not because nothing is happening, but because you're seeing other people's achievements as complete stories and your own as unfinished ones. You notice their promotion, their engagement, their big milestone, and assume everything else in their life is working too. When something good happens to you, you zoom in on what still needs to be fixed, the gaps, the next step, the part that isn't settled yet. It's not that your progress doesn't exist or doesn't count, it's that you experience your life from the inside, where improvement always feels incomplete, while everyone else's life shows up to you in highlights. It's the way we focus on others' achievements while downplaying our own. When someone else succeeds, it feels objective. They got the job, they bought the thing, they reached the milestone. When you do something similar, your mind immediately adds qualifiers. I'm still behind in other areas. So are they, you just don't see the areas where they're behind. Over time, this trains you to see your life as lacking shape or momentum, even when it has plenty. You become an unreliable narrator of your own progress. Now, to be fair, comparison isn't always harmful. It can be informative. Seeing what others are doing can clarify what you want, or what you definitely don't want. It can expose possibilities you hadn't considered. It can motivate change when you've genuinely been avoiding something important. But the line between useful comparison and quiet distortion is thin. Comparison stops being helpful when it shifts from information to identity. When instead of thinking, "that's interesting," you start thinking, "that means something about me." That's when it messes with self-worth. And here's the key question people rarely ask. Does feeling behind actually mean you are behind? Most of the time, no. It means you're measuring yourself using incomplete data and arbitrary timelines. It means you're sensitive, observant, and aware of social cues, traits that are useful in many contexts but brutal when turned inward. It means you're seeing outcomes without showing cost. The feeling itself is real. It can hurt, it can linger, but it doesn't automatically correspond to stagnation or failure. A lot of people who feel this way are in a stretch where nothing big is changing. Same job, same apartment, same routine. But underneath that sameness, decisions are being made quietly. You're realizing what kind of work you don't want to do anymore. You're noticing which friendships drain you. You're adjusting expectations about money, relationships, or how much energy you actually have. None of that shows up as an update, so it feels like nothing is happening, even though a lot is shifting. Part of the distortion comes from how achievements show up. A friend might have one big moment in a year, a promotion, a wedding, a move, and because it's clear and visible, it makes their entire year look like a success story. That single event becomes the headline people remember. You might make one or two big changes, paying off debt, buying a house, but because they're spread out and not announced all at once, it doesn't feel like a breakthrough. Their one visible moment defines their whole year. Yours doesn't. Being told to just be grateful doesn't help. It usually adds guilt on top of the discomfort. The feeling makes sense when success is constantly presented as finished moments, promotion posts, engagement photos, moving announcements, without any of the uncertainty or trade-offs that came with them. You mostly see endings, not the months of confusion that led up to them. You don't need to make the feeling disappear. Just recognizing it for what it is can soften it. Not "something is wrong with me," but "this is what comparison looks like without context." And that small shift is often enough to make the feeling less heavy and less convincing.